Ritchie McKay is kind enough to join us. He's the head coach of the Liberty Flames. Second time they've won the ASUN in the last 3 years. And, of course, you go back a couple years ago, and they got a win in the NCAA tournament. This year, as a 13 seed, they draw my alma mater, Oklahoma State. And Ritchie McKay joins us on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. Coach, how are you?
Doing great, Doug. Thanks for having me on. Let's just get this over with right now. Who'd you pick in your bracket? The 4th-seeded Cowboys or the 13th-seeded Flames?
I did pick the Cowboys. I did.
I just, okay. But I great being on your show. Thanks for having me.
No, I mean I did. Okay, so you guys. What's interesting is like last year you would have gone too. Like you have it rolling, and for people who don't know Ritchie's story, the whole story will be on the All Ball podcast. But you were a head coach for a long time. You lost your job in New Mexico. You came to Liberty. You won 23 games in your second year at Liberty. Then you went to work for Tony Bennett. And now you come back, and last year you allowed 53.8 points per game. This year it's 59 and change, okay, a little bit higher. But it feels like people would say Virginia light. Is that an accurate portrayal of how your teams play?
If they do say that, I'll take it as a compliment, having been there for 6 years with Tony and in that program. Man, they got it to a place, well, obviously, national championship caliber, and would have been competitive again last year and will be this year. So I would take that as a great compliment. I do think we, on most nights, and it's our hope that we're hard to score against, and that, in my mind, really accelerates your opportunity to compete. So I think defensively, we stole the blueprint, Doug. We copy it tooth and nail, and Coach Bennett has made some adjustments that we haven't subscribed to yet. But I think for that end of the floor, especially, is something that we really believe in.
What's it like to be? First of all, you're in the bubble. Okay, what's this like for you guys? I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, everybody has their own room, right? All the players have their own room, and then you guys have to have food brought to them. You can't go out to eat. Is that an accurate portrayal of what it's like?
Yeah, when you first get here, you have to quarantine. You test right away. You land at the airport. You get a police escort to the hotel, and then when you arrive at the hotel, you test and then you quarantine. And all those meals were delivered to our door, and after the second test, the second day, probably 20 hours later, you're out of quarantine, and then you can move around the hotel and to the convention center where they hold their practices, to your meeting room. But and then they've got some outside time at Victory Field, which is the minor league baseball stadium that it's carefully monitored. This is a controlled environment, and they're very serious about it. I will say this though, Doug, the food's been good. The people have been outstanding. It's really well organized. You can tell that there is a strong intentionality to try and make this student athlete experience grand. And my hat's off to Dan Gavitt and his team for what they've done here. It's not like it was or has been, but I can't think of a better version of this given the state that we're in.
Yeah, what are the challenges been like for this season, considering you are in Virginia, right? And you're in Lynchburg, Virginia, and there's, every area has they have different rules in terms of who's out, when doors are open. Like, what's this been like for you guys in terms of able to hold practices, ability to keep guys quarantined during the season, and the testing? What's that actually been like?
Yeah, we were fortunate. I think we finished 23-5. So with 28 games, we didn't go on pause. We had a couple of games that were canceled because our opponent had a shutdown. But Doug, what I love about this group, they're fabulous people. Like, don't get me wrong, we have good players, and you need good players to be able to compete for the championship of your league or wherever you want to compete for a championship. But we have outstanding people, and I think hats off to Liberty because I think it attracts a really conscientious student athlete that has a sincere desire to grow in their faith. And man, these dudes have sacrificed. Like, you played at a high level. The challenges that you have as a student athlete without a pandemic are immense. And
right.
the way they've had to navigate the testing, the pause, the changes, are we going to play this week? And then the experience that they signed up for, they are not getting. Like this, they're not hanging out. We have a dedicated classroom that they go to, or dedicated facility on campus, or LAC, which is phenomenal. They go to a classroom in that LAC and they do online class. So that's they go from there to the practice facility, which our weight room is encompassed in, and then back to their wherever they live. And those are some major sacrifices. You're not hanging out at the cafeteria. You're not walking across campus with the student body saying, "Hey, great game last night." So I'm really proud of them. They haven't complained. They've operated out of a deep sense of gratitude, which I think is a necessity if you're gonna navigate this the right way.
Ritchie McKay joining us, head coach of Liberty. The Flames get a chance to take on Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament in the first round. That game is going to be played at Bankers Life Fieldhouse where the Pacers play. That's, I think, 5 o'clock local on Friday afternoon, Eastern time. You have a fabulous junior point guard, kid named Darius McGee. He's only, 5'9", 160. That's probably soaking wet. But what's impressive about him is his improvement, right? Like his first year came off the bench, last year a starter, and now kind of your go-to guy. How has he taken his game from where he was as a freshman, where he was, 145 or whatever, to now where he's your not just your point guard, but your go-to guy?
Yeah, Doug, I'm going to give you a name, and I know you're a basketball savant, so you're when I say this name, you're going to say, "Oh man, dude is good." Darius McGee is Dana Barrows.
Okay. Does he shoot the little? He doesn't push the little push three from deep.
He's got a deep three. He's got like a 46-inch vertical. And, you referenced his freshman and sophomore years. We had some really good players that graduated that last year that really carried the load for us. And Darius, one of the best things about him is he's such a great kid. He's so humble. He deferred his first 2 years. Like I have to sometimes tell him, "Hey, are you going to shoot today?" He's just that kind of guy. He loves his teammates. He doesn't want the spotlight. He wants everyone to feel involved. But he's got a takeover ability in a game that he can change the course of a game in 2 or 3 possessions. So really a fabulous player. It's one of those deals where, if he has a shining moment in this event, he'll become a household name and his followers will go up and he'll get verified and all that. He's got that kind of ability.
Okay. I mean, the most important kid on your team, let's just be honest, is Luke McKay, right? I mean, that's the guy we got to get him some buckets. So twofold. What's it like to experience this with your son on board?
Yeah, it's been the best 3 years of my coaching career. Just because I'm with him every day. When we're on the road, we'll go out to eat. Luke didn't play basketball until his junior year of high school, so seeing his growth and his ownership and that improvement, it's been a joy.
I read that. How is that possible? Your dad was a player. You were a player. You've been a coach. What was your son do? Was he skateboarding? Was he revolting? Like, what was it? Was he a goth kid? How did he not play basketball till his junior year in high school?
No, Champ is what we call him. He was into the video games. He was a good student. We didn't want to force it upon him, and he didn't catch the bug until later in life. Now his younger brother has been hooping from day one, and he'll tell you he's going to be a star. But Luke just has this. Honestly, Doug, the neatest thing I saw all year. Luke came in a game. It was a non-one game we were playing. He came in and he never shoots. He won't even shoot in practice. And he shot the ball 3 times and had 8 points. And the bench erupted. It's hard being the coach's son, but the way his teammates celebrated him, it really warmed my heart. And then of course when I got home, his mom said, "Wait a minute, how come he's not playing more? He's not." I'm just kidding. She didn't say that, but definitely been a joy coaching him.
I thought you did. You are the head coach at Liberty University, and I've seen, having been through Lynchburg, I've seen its immense growth. Like, you do a Virginia Tech game, or you're flying out of Lynchburg, whatever, and you just look at the campus. The campus is stunning, and it continues to grow. But it is a religious school. There are things that these kids have to do that other kids don't have to do. What is that like to establish this sort of balance for young people in this day and age?
Yeah, I think Liberty, its mission is training champions for Christ. And I think just like you would choose a Stanford or an Ivy League school for what their mission is, I think you choose Liberty for that whole person development. I'm saying you can't get that elsewhere. But I think if you have a conscientiousness in growing in your Christian faith or having a biblical worldview, I think you would choose a place like Liberty. And man, the campus has exploded. There's been over $1 billion of construction over the last 10 years, and we've been the benefactor. Athletics has been the benefactor. We've got a great AD and Ian McCall. So I think it's a great time to be at Liberty. Hugh Freeze is one of the best football coaches in the country, and he's put us on the national map. And there's just a tremendous unity that exists amongst not only our coaches within our department, but throughout our campus. And I think our guys, I think they enjoy that experience, some with their fellow student body members and the people that they get a chance to do life with on a daily basis.
He coached that game from a hospital bed.
Yes, he did.
Right? Can you guys wheel him in Indy? Put him in a booth and just go, Coach, listen, it worked for you then. We need every help we can get. You want to put a headset on and call us down some plays, you let me know?
His back is good now, so he would be standing up on the sideline is my guess. But, hey, if that's what we need to get the Cowboys, Doug, I'm all for it.
So you get a chance to take on Cade Cunningham, who's an amazing talent. Mike's done a remarkable job. They have a very talented team. And this is what ends up happening when a team is underseeded, and I think you and I would both agree, like they should be a 3 or a 2, right? Is we all think of that team. What we never think of is their opponent, right? Where you guys sitting here going like, not only did we have a lower seed than we wanted, but now we got a team that's like a seed line or 2 below who they should be. Like, we shouldn't be playing Oklahoma State in our first game. But here's the question, right? You guys obviously play tremendous pack line defense. You load up, you take teams out of transition. How do you handle the emotions of kids know that if I play well against Cade Cunningham, everybody's going to see me? How do you, and you've done this before, it's not your first, how do you handle the emotions of kids who are going to be kids and want to take it as a personal challenge to try and be the guy that night?
Yeah, great question. We have a mantra we live by in our program. What you do every day is more important than what you do every once in a while. And I think that everyday approach that...
Hold on. Repeat that one more time for people to write that one down. Go ahead.
Yeah. What you do every day is more important than what you do every once in a while. And I just think, again, for us, great. It's a big stage. We get that. We're privileged and honored to be a part of it. But what wins the day for us is who we are, and not trying to live in someone else's identity. I think for our basketball program, and we have a ton of respect for Coach Boynton, what he's done there. You alluded to it. They've got great talent, and Cade Cunningham is special. At the same time, we're playing against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and we are the Liberty Flames, not the McGees, not the Cuppies, not the McKays, So it's our team versus their team, and we're just going to hope to see what we can do in those 40 minutes, and hopefully it's good enough.
Last thing, Ritchie McKay, head coach of Liberty. We didn't talk about this a ton on the pod. The pod will drop tomorrow. It's fascinating. But going back to a place you were previously, you're away for 6 years. You go to Virginia, which is an hour down the road, to work with your close friend Tony Bennett and build that thing into the still defending national champions. And now you've been back. What is it like the second time around? Was it at all weird for a while to be back the second time around?
No, I get asked that question a lot, and people assume when you leave a place something was wrong with it. I never left Liberty for what it wasn't. Tony was a good friend, and his dad wasn't as a good friend, and his dad wasn't as a mentor. So we just felt called to do that, and it was great for my career. I got a PhD in pack line defense, and like I alluded to in the podcast, I got some mind space back, and it's a joy and a privilege to be back. It's a great place, and we're having a blast. I think we're building a program that hopefully can sustain success, and I love doing life with the people I get a chance to.
You're about 45 minutes from Appomattox. Have you ever taken the team up
there?
Yeah,
we haven't. How do you know Appomattox?
It's interesting. So we probably should have done this in the pod, and we can do more if you want. But I was driving last week. I did the SoCon, and then I had to do the CAA out of James Madison.
Okay.
And I'm not Civil War reenactment guy. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be the dead guy today. No, but every time I'm in that area, as you know, when you drive anywhere, if you pull off anywhere, there's something Civil War history, right? That's just the area. And so I drove 81 the whole way to Harrisonburg, and I stopped along the way to get gas and stopped along this beautiful river and filmed it. And I was looking at, like, I got an hour to kill, and I was like, man, Appomattox. So we talked about it on the radio show last week, and it's just interesting on here. You know, we're still kind of socially fighting old battles, and you guys are right up the road from, like, I thought this battle was decided a while ago. Here's Appomattox, and it's got to be interesting to be in that part of the country where there is so much history that we just pass by on a daily basis and almost kind of forget about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we have the burden of responsibility to keep not only recognizing what history said in the story that was told, but reshaping it. And our responsibility there to be agents of change. And I do think knowing the more about what used to be can help you impact what is today. So you are a historian. I'm not surprised, though. You got a lot of talent.
No, I'm fascinated by it, and I think you live in an incredibly beautiful part of the country, and
we do.
Every time I'm there, I'm like, wow, why don't I live? Why don't I live here? I wish you nothing but success. Thank you for all your time today, and stay healthy in that bubble. And we look forward to seeing you against the Cowboys on Friday.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you having me on, man.